Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Chai with Scintillating Stars by IASNM. This initiative is sponsored by MIC, or Molecular Imaging Consultants. And today, our scintillating star who's going to sit down for chai with us is Dr. Srikant Solav. I've known Dr. Solav for several years now. He is an MD from the Bhopal University in India, and then completed his DRM in nuclear medicine from the Mumbai University. He's also a fellow of the Asian Board of Nuclear Medicine. He is one of the few very successful private nuclear medicine consultants and practitioners in India. He's got a fantastic practice in the city of Pune. And I've had the privilege and the honor to visit that facility where it was just built. And it's an awesome facility with SPECT and PET scanners, treatment areas, and disposal of radioactive waste all under one roof. It is just a fantastic, fantastic facility. So our guest of honor today is Dr. Solav. Dr. Solav, how are you doing?
Hello, Amol. Thank you very much. It's indeed a pleasure and a privilege that your association thought our clinic is worthwhile, being on this program. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, I'm glad the honor is all ours. I'm glad you agreed to sit down with us. So let's start with our chai and interview. And I would like to start by asking you briefly, can you tell us about your journey so far in life? How did you get a start in this field? What inspired you to get here? What enabled you to reach your current position, and so on?
Well, as a student, when it was the time to choose what stream you must take in your education field. You were, ninth standard, about 14, 15 years of age, you are essentially driven by the peer pressure. So I say that my failure to become an agriculturist is all thanks to the wrong company I attributed. All academics, all my friends were brilliant, in academics. I always cherished their company, and I owe my, my education, my life, everything to the company and of course the teachers. So it was difficult not to choose medicine, though my passion was from the beginning for plants. But anyway, having chosen that, I was really, really fascinated with the way my teachers took their profession of teaching in day-to-day life. And it was amazing the way they approached towards patients. It was simply fascinating to see them, and that's what I invite. And I'm extremely passionate towards whatever I do, and thanks to my teachers about it. And having completed medicine, it was given that I was going to study further. I lost my father in the second MBBS, and my maternal uncle spent for my education. So I and my mother moved to Pune because she's from Pune. So for me, it was sort of a debt I had to repay. I had to come to Pune and be amongst the members of the family, and So in this period, the choice was between not choosing. For instance, I had the opportunity to pursue gastroenterology in Russia, which I did not take it. I got selected I was the first in the waiting list for DM neurology, and sort of I decided against it. A senior professor, a colleague of mine, who said that a broad-based approach to medicine would probably, help the patient more. And in the subject of nuclear medicine, I saw this opportunity. And I discussed with him, and that's how I decided to venture into this specialty. And rest is destiny, I would say.
So very, very interesting story, and it's all a perspective. I guess your failure is our gain, the gain of nuclear medicine and molecular imaging field. We gained you, so that then, and we're very thankful that your friends helped you get into good med school and all that.
It's
So
humbling to
going ahead, so once you did your nuclear medicine training and all that, and you set your goals and you've reached fantastic heights. So what are some of the challenges that you faced in achieving your goals?
Yes, once again, the challenge was making decisions about quitting a full-time faculty position at Radiation Medicine Center. It was a big challenge. Of course, my mother encouraged me because she was all for, self-reliance. Many of my friends, my teachers, parents, whom I have huge respect because, because we come from very humble backgrounds, and despite being extremely powerful government positions, they never ever abused their position and power. So I have huge regards for them. They thought that it's safe haven, to take up public services, but my mother and her, members of our family, we all, looked up to self-reliance. People in this country needs, however small it is, the need is to generate employment. It's not about, 70% of our taxes are spent in salaries of 1% population, public service. It's you have to choose where you want to be. So for me, it was very inspiring environment where when I saw some of my uncles quit government positions and start their own either business or nursery and do it, sweat it day in and day out and, make it successful. So that's what, and then I came across a very interesting individual later in my life, Mr. Parrikar, who happened to become a very close friend, is no more now, and who inspired me, who pushed me from a corporate job to, venture into private practice. It was a very, very hard decision because it was to quit a cozy corporate position, and but nevertheless, people have been kind, God has been kind. The challenges were in establishing the clinic were essentially making awareness. When you are practicing ultrasound or CD, the requirement for a practitioner, maybe a pediatrician or a urologist, he would sign off maybe 5 or 7 ultrasounds in a day. But the same pediatrician would think about nuclear medicine only once in 6 months, when he has a bleeding for victim. So the challenge was to create awareness amongst the referring physicians about the value of nuclear medicine. How often in my lectures I say the shortest distance to diagnosis, how a small test can shorten the diagnostic workup, can save time, resources, money, and enhance patient management. So whether it is cardiology, whether it is nephrology, whether it is pediatrics, etc., etc. So that was a challenge, and it's we've traveled extensively in the state of Maharashtra to create this awareness, to build up a broad referral base.
You've definitely done very well. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
So I guess it was paid off. So in this journey, who's been your role model or mentor, or who's the one who had the most influence on you in this journey so far?
Well, of course, my genes, my mother was the one who always said you have to learn to be self-reliant. My father, who gave me the sense of pride that never ever do discrimination and injustice to anyone. Discrimination is a strict no-no in our family, no matter on any ground. So that is one which I learned from my father. My teachers and my friends, for whom I have huge respect, teachers from whom I learned clinical acumen, bedside manners, devotion, dedication, unparalleled. One of my professors, Professor Pathak, he used to spend hours together in the ward rounds, his rounds used to start at 9 o'clock. He used to have one question for every student.
Interesting.
Starting from anemia, pitting edema, he will have 7 questions, starting from resident, undergraduate resident, junior resident, senior resident. For a lecturer, he would have, and this is how, so huge respect for my students and colleagues, of course, and I have deepest regard for every single member of our clinic. I have deepest regard for the person who takes care of our toilets. I have highest regard for the ground level staff and I feel that, their well-being, their children should get well educated. I consider it my personal responsibility that their education, their children's education should be well taken care of. Their health has to be well taken care of, and they must become successful in their academic life, career, and become, honorable citizens. They should not be condemned and deprived of the basic needs that many of us in the West, or you in the West, take it for granted. It's not the same in India.
So, but if you have to name one person, who would you name?
Honestly, destiny. Honestly, because there was, there is no one person. As I said, I am indebted to, so many people, and destiny has really, really been. I firmly believe that the spirits of my forefathers have always been there. You may call it superstition, but I firmly believe that my spirits of my forefathers have always come to my rescue in hardships, which if you read the book Last Man in the Queue, you will realize what I mean when I say that.
Definitely. So, and obviously you've been a very successful nuclear medicine physician in private practice. How has this unprecedented era of COVID-19 pandemic affected you professionally as well as, say, personally? And what are your thoughts on the current situation? And how do you embrace this time and still continue to move forward in these unprecedented times?
Very thoughtful question, Amol. COVID has made us realize how fragile we are. COVID has given us the lesson of our life that we have to be kind to nature. We have to be disciplined. We have to be respectful towards each other. We've suffered significant financial losses, but thanks to our supporting team, thanks to our bankers, that we were not forced to cut down anybody's salary in this period. We were lucky that way. Many people lost their jobs. Very unfortunate, because after all, there has to be sustainability, has to be justified. You can't go on building debts. So luckily, it has destiny has been kind to us. We suffered, but we were able to overcome it. Whenever there is a lull phase at the work front, I see it as a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity either to write case reports, because in a private practice, that's the best we can do. So writing case reports, collecting data of interesting cases is my passion. I do it, very sincerely, and then review it retrospectively. And I was, just making your voice quotes about, sort of your experiences. I thought, translate them into. One fine Sunday, I was just sitting idly, and I said I picked up my diary and pen and started jotting down my thoughts, and then it translated into a poem. Mm-hmm. And every Sunday I wrote one poem, so that way there were 12 poems which were composed, and each poem formed was on the backdrop of an experience in real life, and without meaning any offense to anyone. It's a system in which we live, and we have to face it. We don't need to always accept it, and you have to challenge it. You have to question it. You have to bring about change in the mindset of the people who act funny. So, and I'm sure gradually it will happen. and in generations to come, things will change. I mean, I feel it's a pity. I mean, the best of brains, Amol, all your colleagues, the best of brains are lost to, great countries like America, England, Japan. And we realize, I feel my friends, their children migrating to US, we rejoice it. I feel it's a pity that, we are losing the best of talent, and, we have to do something about it to improve, the situation in our own country. And that cannot happen single-handedly. It has to be with, collective efforts, with perseverance of like-minded people.
Definitely, definitely. The brain drain definitely is not a good thing for India, at least. So very thoughtful answer. So if you have to take this journey again, what would you do differently?
Probably I would have put my foot down and told my parents, please, I want to be with plants. Please, I want to be in the woods. Please, there is so much to learn. I see my garden. They are full of emotions. They are full of resistance. They are full of, you have to see it to believe it, how much life there is in plants. And whenever I go abroad, the first thing I look at is Hortus botanicus in any city. And there's so much to learn from them. And the science of Ayurveda, of course, is based on the plant kingdom. And there's so much still that we need to reap from that stream of medicine.
Yes, I'm certainly impressed by your knowledge of plants and your passion for it. When I saw your garden a few years back, I still remember how much you knew about each plant. It's so impressive.
It's all thanks to the environment, the people, the passionate amateur gardeners in the city of Pune. They have courses for amateurs like us, and they help us. They do hand holding and help us learn many intricate aspects. So it's interesting. It's good to be with them, to learn from them.
Definitely. So you definitely have several hobbies. I know a few of them. Gardening, poetry, writing books. Are there any other hobbies or anything other than nuclear medicine and molecular imaging that you feel very passionate about, either professionally or personally?
Well, I also like to listen to soft music, and the plant life and the gardening takes up most of my time, and the beauty is the work never ends with the plants. You have to do pruning, you have to do mulching, you have to do de-weeding, and of course we make sure that we use almost negligible pesticides, because that's one huge health issue that we are facing because of the indiscriminate use of pesticides in the field of agriculture. That is also the root cause of flourishing cancer all around us. There's a train in Punjab which is called as a cancer train.
Cancer train, yes, yeah.
It's terrible. So there has to be judicious use of pesticides, and we make sure that we do not use any pesticides in our garden. And people have that's important, to how to build resistance. You have to do that. You have to do hard pruning, and so a lot of time is spent. It's a stress buster for me, and anywhere you go in the world. In Amazon, when I went to this city of, what was that, last conference of head and neck radiology was in that arid area. They have the cactus botanical garden.
Okay.
In the city. Sorry?
Was it in Arizona?
Yes, it was at Arizona. It was at Arizona.
You saw?
It was, what is the capital?
Phoenix?
Yeah, it was in Phoenix. So that's where they had the cactus botanical garden. So wherever you go in the world, you have, plant life, and you can learn from this.
So it basically helps you calm down. But in spite of all that time, you still have time to write a book and write poems. So that's amazing.
Yes, it was big. Thanks to COVID, we had enough time at our hand, and it was utilized effectively in translating into various poems, and experience was jotted down.
So that probably helped you a lot during the COVID times.
So yeah, that's right.
Good, good. So what is your parting message to the younger generation who are either embarking on their journey now in this field that we cherish, or are in their mid-careers now, and they are passionate about this field? So what's your advice or message to them?
Well, whatever you do, you have to do it passionately. You have to remember that there's a responsibility of service towards our customer. Each one of us has a customer, and our patient is our customer. It's not only our professional responsibility. You have to address all of the needs of the customer, and you must do it sincerely, passionately, and never ever discriminate. No matter what, never ever discriminate. Using discretion is one thing, but discrimination is a strict no-no. So that's one message I would give to the younger generation.
So you talked about our patients being our customers, but in the field of imaging, another customer is also your referring physician. So who do you serve, the patient or the referring physician, or both? And what are your thoughts on this unique situation that we as imagers find ourselves in?
Amol, long ago, my accountant told me that accountancy is a thankless job. Many a times in my practice, I realized that I get that feeling. The other day, there was a Google review said that they did not, we have a 3-tier billing system. We charge particular fees for urgent report. We deliver the report within an hour. We charge a certain fees for delivering the report by 6 o'clock. So this report, that was a sort of heavy day, and this report was delivered 20 minutes late. So he gave us 1 star on the Google review, and he said that they did not deliver the report at the promised time. So actually, despite the fact that we informed them that it's 6 o'clock approximately, please do not come unless you receive a phone call from us. But so there are challenges, and it's every day. And there are challenges when referring doctor, of course, has to be satisfied so far as your clinical work is concerned. You realize that if you give, and you have to be sincere and honest about it. You are not able to answer all his requirements every time. For instance, we had a patient of low TSH. Patient had low TSH, subclinical thyrotoxicosis, and the patient was sent for a thyroid scan. And the thyroid scan was actually normal. The patient was also sent for a PET scan, and the PET scan was rock normal. The patient eventually turned out to be having hematologic malignancy. Now you tell me, hematologic malignancy is known, can be missed on a PET scan. You can see nothing. I mean, it's a given fact. So you have to be honest about it. Look here, then I reviewed it critically after having seen the bone marrow examination. There was virtually, nothing at all. And so you have to create awareness. You have to tell them that, look here, patient of signaling cell carcinoma, you may land up with a false negative FDG PET scan report. You have to know that. So creating this awareness. So if you be honest with them about this, it takes time. It takes time, but over a period of time, they do, come to realize that patient with rib trauma, with a rib contusion, normal chest X-ray need not always be condemned. It's a first investigation. So there are limitations to all investigation, and that's also true with nuclear medicine. And we have to be, forthright about it. That these are the areas where we have our limitations. We have to sort of explain it very, clearly, and be, firm in our communication. People who come, I just want to have a PET scan done without any investigations with them. You have to say politely decline it. No, this is not an indication. I want to get it because I want to have malignancy ruled out. That's not an indication for PET scan. So you have to be, just in your practice.
Excellent, excellent. So we are almost coming to our end. Any last words, any parting thoughts that you would like to give?
How many minutes do you have? Do you have 2.5 minutes?
You have whatever minutes. You have 3 minutes.
So I have a point to share with you.
Definitely. We would love to hear your.
मेरा भारत महान, हुकूमत और जनता में बनी रहे दूरी, हुकूमत ना समझा कभी जनता की मजबूरी, किसान का यहाँ होता है अपमान और आप कहते हैं मेरा भारत महान, अस्पतालों में ना मिले दवा और गोली, कौन सुनता है यहाँ जनता की बोली, डॉक्टरों का यहाँ होता है सम्मान और आप कहते हैं मेरा भारत महान, राशन के सामान की भी बोली लगाई, गरीब के घर सिर्फ मजबूरी आई, सच्चाई को ना मिले यहाँ कोई स्थान और आप कहते हैं मेरा भारत महान, चुनाव में बिकता है हर एक वोट, हुकूमत के मन में खोट ही खोट, जनता की परेशानी यहां घमासान और आप कहते हैं मेरा भारत महान, गोदामों में होता है अनाज का विनाश, अधिकारी को सिर्फ तरक्की की तलाश, वंचित रहा यहां हर किसान और आप कहते हैं मेरा भारत महान, सरकारी दफ्तरों में जनता रहे वंचित, ना सुने उसकी पीड़ा कोई किंचित, अधिकारी को सिर्फ लकीर का अभिमान और आप कहते हैं मेरा भारत महान, धर्म के नाम पर यहां भेदभाव, इंसानियत से ना करे यहां कोई लगाव, खुदगर्ज है यहां हर इंसान और आप कहते हैं मेरा भारत महान, चलो खेले एक शतरंज का खेल, हो जाने दो न्याय और सभ्यता का मेल, मिलकर ले हम कुछ निर्णय तूफान कि दुनिया कहे तेरा भारत महान. Thank you.
That was excellent. We'll have to sit in English though, so that our audience understands most of it. But that was really excellent. I could feel the passion for poetry in there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Dr. Solav, for your time and your wisdom that you shared with us. I hope you enjoyed this chai with us, and I hope you remain engaged in nuclear medicine and with IASNM and the US.
Thank you, Amol, and thank you, IASNM, for giving me this opportunity and considering our small clinic worthwhile for being on this platform. Thank you ever so much.
Perfect.
Bye.